Superman's code of honor shattered, leaving the world in shock. The Avengers received a secret order to stop him at any cost. Tension rises as old allies question loyalties and hidden motives. Battles erupt across the city, each hero pushed to their limits. Superman struggles between justice, vengeance, and protecting the innocent. Unexpected betrayals shake the foundations of every team. A final confrontation looms, where choices will determine the future. In the end, only one truth remains. Heroes can fall, but hope survives. Superman had always been the symbol of hope, a beacon that the world could trust, someone who would never cross the line of justice. But everything changed the day he broke his sacred oath. It wasn't a reckless act or a simple mistake. It was a calculated choice, one that shook the foundations of the entire superhero community. Citizens panicked, the news spread like wildfire, and the question on everyone's mind was simple. Could the Man of Steel have gone rogue? The Avengers didn't wait long to get answers. They received orders from the highest authority commanding them to bring Superman back, dead if necessary. It was a command that went against everything Captain America stood for, but obedience to the mission was mandatory. The team was torn because they had fought alongside Superman countless times, shared victories, and even saved the world together. Now they were being asked to hunt him down as if he were a common villain. Superman knew the Avengers would come for him. He wasn't naive. The world had changed overnight, and those he considered allies were now hunters. He tried to explain himself to the public, but every interview and every public appearance only fueled confusion and fear. Misunderstandings turned into hysteria, and soon chaos spread faster than any villain could have hoped. Children who once cheered his name now whispered doubts, and newspapers questioned whether he had truly abandoned his morals. The Avengers arrived in full force. Iron Man's armor glinted under the sun as he hovered over the city skyline. Thor's hammer crackled with lightning, and even Hulk's immense presence cast shadows across the streets. It wasn't a battle of strength alone, but a clash of ideals. Each hero struggled internally, wondering if they could really follow through with this mission. But the orders were clear, and hesitation could cost innocent lives. Superman didn't wait for them to strike first. He moved fast, faster than anyone could anticipate. Civilians scattered as buildings shook and cars were thrown aside in the wake of their confrontation. Superman's goal wasn't to fight them. He wanted to buy time, to find a way to explain himself before anyone was seriously hurt. But the Avengers were relentless. Every strike from Iron Man, every swing of Thor's hammer, even Hulk's unstoppable force was met with precise defense and counterattacks. Tensions escalated rapidly. Friends became foes, and every punch carried the weight of history. Superman tried to appeal to their hearts, speaking of unseen threats and imminent dangers that no one else could stop. But distrust had grown too deep. Captain America, who had once looked up to him, now held a shield ready to fight. Black Widow's eyes were sharp, calculating every move. Every hero had a personal stake in this, and every clash felt like the breaking of old bonds. Meanwhile, an unseen threat lurked in the shadows. While the heroes fought above ground, villains took advantage of the chaos. Buildings burned, alarms blared, and innocent lives hung in the balance. Superman's actions, though misunderstood, were aimed at preventing even greater catastrophe. He moved with precision, saving civilians in the crossfire while deflecting attacks from those he had once considered family. The irony was bitter because the world saw him as the threat, yet he was the one trying to protect it from total collapse. The battle reached its peak in the heart of the city. Energy blasts, thunder, and raw power clashed in a spectacle that shook the skyline. Superman's exhaustion was apparent, yet he pushed forward. The Avengers' resolve was equally unwavering. Each strike, each dodge, each near miss told a story of friendship tested, loyalty questioned, and morality stretched to its limits. In the midst of it all, the world watched. Live news, social media, and eyewitnesses captured every moment. The story spread instantly as millions of people shared videos, debated motives, and wondered if this was truly the end of Superman. Despite the intensity of the battle, Superman never lost sight of his mission. He wasn't fighting for revenge or dominance. Every move was a calculated effort to protect innocent lives, to buy time until the truth could be revealed. And slowly, cracks appeared in the Avengers' resolve. Iron Man hesitated mid-blast. Thor's hammer faltered. Even Hulk paused, recognizing the weight behind Superman's actions. The mission orders were clear, but moral certainty wasn't. Finally, a moment of clarity arrived. Superman spoke, not as a hero facing his peers, but as a man trying to save a world that no longer trusted him. He revealed the unseen threat, a villainous plot that would destroy the city if left unchecked, a danger so massive that only his unique abilities could stop it. The Avengers saw it with their own eyes. The evidence was undeniable, the urgency impossible to ignore. Their mission shifted in an instant from elimination to cooperation. The battle transformed completely. The city that had trembled under their conflict now witnessed an alliance forged in fire. Superman and the Avengers, once enemies by misunderstanding, fought side by side. Civilians cheered from rooftops, recording every heroic act. Social media exploded with admiration and awe. Videos spread in minutes, hashtags trended worldwide, and people celebrated the reunion of heroes they had feared were lost to conflict. In the aftermath, Superman stood amidst the rubble, tired but resolute. The Avengers gathered around, their respect for him restored, tempered by the reminder that even heroes can falter. The world slowly returned to order, but the story had already been told countless times online, inspiring debate, admiration, and renewed hope. Superman's oath had been broken, yes, but his intentions remained pure. The lesson was clear. Even in the darkest misunderstandings, true heroes rise not for glory, but to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The city's skyline glimmered with the first signs of peace. Superman's name spread worldwide, not as a fallen hero, but as a symbol of unwavering courage in the face of mistrust. The Avengers had learned that judgment without understanding could lead to chaos, and the world had seen that heroes, no matter how powerful, were human at heart. And while challenges would always come, the story of this day became a testament to hope, resilience, and the power of unity even when the odds seemed impossible. The aftermath of the citywide clash left everyone shaken, yet the tension didn't end with a single battle. Superman and the Avengers had survived the misunderstanding, but the world had already seen the cracks in the facade of unity. Social media exploded with speculation, memes, and debates. Millions of people dissected every movement, every decision, every moment of hesitation, calling heroes heroes or questioning them entirely. In the midst of the attention, a new, unseen threat began weaving its plan. Even as they tried to regroup, intelligence reports came in revealing unusual energy readings, anomalies in major cities, and whispers of villain alliances forming behind the scenes. This wasn't just one rogue villain. It was a coalition, a network aiming to exploit the chaos left behind by Superman's conflict with the Avengers. The heroes realized that their battle, public and viral as it was, had only scratched the surface of danger. Superman's actions, though misunderstood, were the first line of defense against something far more sinister. Captain America and Iron Man called a private meeting. Trust had to be rebuilt, but time was running out. The Avengers knew they couldn't act as separate factions anymore. They needed Superman's insight and power to face this new threat. Tension filled the room as each member voiced concerns. Black Widow emphasized strategy over strength. Hulk remained the unpredictable force, and Thor was steadfast yet impatient. Every plan was debated, every contingency weighed, because the stakes had escalated beyond anything they had faced before. Superman entered the meeting with a calm demeanor that masked his frustration. He explained the scale of the looming threat, a villainous alliance targeting multiple cities simultaneously, capable of devastation that no single hero could prevent. The coalition had infiltrated governmental networks, global defense systems, and even satellite control. If left unchecked, millions could die before any intervention was possible. The gravity of the situation silenced the room. They understood now that the order to bring Superman down had been short-sighted, perhaps even dangerous. The team mobilized quickly, dividing responsibilities and leveraging strengths. Superman would coordinate rescue operations while leading the front line against the most critical threats. Thor and Iron Man would handle large-scale defense, intercepting energy weapons and sabotaging the villain's infrastructure. Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man focused on infiltration and intelligence gathering. Every member understood the urgency because every second counted. The first major attack struck in New York City. The villain coalition unleashed a barrage of advanced weaponry, targeting skyscrapers, bridges, and major transit systems. Chaos erupted, and civilians ran for cover. Superman moved with blinding speed, catching falling debris mid-air, evacuating citizens from collapsing buildings, and redirecting massive energy blasts away from population centers. His every action was precise and heroic, leaving cameras capturing an almost unbelievable display of power. The world watched in awe, millions of eyes glued to screens as footage spread rapidly online. The Avengers joined the fight, their powers complementing Superman's efforts perfectly. Thor unleashed bolts of lightning to neutralize weapon systems, while Hulk crushed heavily armored vehicles threatening the streets. Iron Man's repulsor blasts disarmed bombs midair, and Spider-Man swung between collapsing buildings to save civilians trapped under debris. Coordination was flawless, and yet the villains adapted. They were cunning, attacking from multiple fronts, deploying automated drones, and even using technology designed to temporarily disable superpowers. Every victory felt hard-earned, and every move required ingenuity and teamwork. Meanwhile, Superman faced an internal struggle. The weight of being misunderstood and hunted still lingered in the back of his mind. He had seen fear in the eyes of ordinary citizens, doubt in the hearts of those he once trusted, and the harsh reality of global scrutiny. Yet every time he hesitated, lives hung in the balance. He realized that heroism wasn't about public approval. It was about doing what was right, even when nobody believed in you. The battle was a crucible, testing not only strength, but resilience and character. By nightfall, the first wave of attacks was mitigated, but the villain's strategy revealed a more disturbing plan, a coordinated strike on multiple continents simultaneously. The heroes split across the globe, each team racing against time. Superman headed to Europe, where a massive energy weapon threatened a major city. Iron Man and Thor tackled a fortress in South America, while Black Widow and Hawkeye infiltrated enemy bases in Asia. The scale was unprecedented, and the coordination between teams became a masterclass in strategy, trust, and improvisation. Superman's arrival in Europe was dramatic. Buildings quaked as he intercepted a massive energy beam aimed at the city center. Civilians were evacuated moments before the blast struck, leaving only the hero and the weapon to contend with. The villains underestimated his speed and foresight, and their sophisticated defenses fell apart under his relentless assault. In the skies above, the battle was a spectacle, captured by drones and cameras, making Superman's heroism the centerpiece of global attention. But even as victory seemed within reach, the coalition revealed its ultimate weapon, a device capable of nullifying superhuman abilities temporarily. The heroes were caught off guard. Superman felt the device's pulse weaken his powers, just enough to slow him down. Thor struggled to control his lightning, and Iron Man's suit was temporarily disrupted. The villains smiled, believing their plan had finally succeeded. Yet the heroes adapted. Teamwork became their weapon. With coordination and ingenuity, they circumvented the device's effects, combining strategies to disable it before irreversible damage could occur. The final showdown of the day brought every hero to the forefront. Superman, regaining full strength, confronted the coalition's leader, a genius strategist with unmatched resources. Their clash was more than physical. It was a battle of wills, intelligence, and morality. Each strike Superman made was calculated, each maneuver precise. With the Avengers supporting him at every turn, the coalition began to crumble. Villains retreated, automated weapons were destroyed, and cities were saved from certain destruction. By dawn, the world was witnessing an unprecedented display of heroism. News outlets called it the day the heroes united, while millions on social media shared footage of coordinated rescues, battles, and bravery. Superman's reputation, once questioned, soared higher than before. The Avengers' trust in him was restored, stronger than ever. They had learned that misunderstandings could fracture even the strongest alliances, but resilience, cooperation, and a commitment to doing what is right could overcome even the darkest challenges. As the sun rose over the battle-scarred cities, Superman stood atop a skyscraper, exhausted but resolute. He had faced doubt, mistrust, and unimaginable danger, yet his commitment to protecting the innocent never wavered. The Avengers gathered around him, allies once divided, now united in purpose. The world had seen what true heroism looked like, not perfection, but courage, determination, and the unwavering desire to protect life against all odds. The story of this day spread faster than any villainous plot, inspiring hope, admiration, and debate across continents. Millions learned that even when heroes are misunderstood, their actions speak louder than words. And as Superman and the Avengers prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead, the world knew one undeniable truth. When heroes rise together, nothing, not fear, not chaos, not even doubt, can stand in their way. The world was still recovering from the chaos of the previous battles, but there was no time to rest. Superman and the Avengers had proven their strength in unity, but the villain coalition that had orchestrated global attacks was far from finished. Their true plan, hidden beneath layers of deception, was finally coming to light. This time, the threat was bigger, more coordinated, and more dangerous than anything the heroes had faced before. Intelligence reports indicated that the coalition had discovered a way to manipulate the world's energy grids, creating massive blackouts that could plunge entire continents into darkness. Their strategy wasn't just about destruction. It was about control. They wanted to demonstrate that no hero, no matter how powerful, could protect the world from their reach. Time was running out. If the villains succeeded, billions of lives would be at risk. Superman felt the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. Every misstep in the past had been magnified, every doubt from the public still fresh in his mind. Yet he couldn't falter. The Avengers, now fully aligned with him, trusted his judgment and strength. Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and the rest of the team had each faced near-impossible odds alongside him, and their bond was stronger for it. Together, they could face even the most daunting challenges. The first strike came in Tokyo, where energy nodes critical to global stability were targeted. Massive towers went dark as automated drones swarmed the streets, threatening civilians and infrastructure alike. Superman acted instantly, flying faster than anyone could track. With precision and speed, he intercepted drones midair, redirected collapsing structures, and evacuated citizens from dangerous areas. His movements were a blur, captured live on news feeds and social media streams. Millions around the world watched in real time, holding their breath as the hero raced against impending disaster. Meanwhile, Iron Man and Spider-Man tackled the drone networks on the ground. Iron Man's suit hacked into enemy systems, while Spider-Man swung between collapsing buildings, disarming traps and rescuing trapped civilians. Thor used his lightning to disrupt energy surges that threatened to overload entire districts. Hulk became a mobile shield, absorbing impacts and protecting those who couldn't escape in time. The coordination was perfect, each member complementing the other's strengths seamlessly. But the villains had anticipated such cooperation. They had developed countermeasures designed to exploit every known weakness. Massive energy pulses disabled communications. Cloaking devices made drones nearly invisible, and traps were scattered throughout the city. Even Superman, with his unparalleled speed and vision, had to adapt constantly. His every decision had consequences, not just for the mission, but for countless innocent lives relying on him to act flawlessly. The battle spread globally. In Paris, London, and New York, simultaneous attacks tested the hero's limits. They split into multiple teams, coordinating through a secure network. Superman took the hardest route, traveling across multiple continents to stabilize critical points before the villains could achieve total control. Each location presented new challenges, including collapsing bridges, malfunctioning transport systems, and civilians in desperate need of rescue. Every decision had to be immediate, precise, and heroic. In the midst of chaos, Superman began noticing patterns in the villains' attacks. They weren't acting randomly. They were testing the heroes, pushing them to see how far they could go before breaking. It was psychological warfare as much as it was physical. The coalition's leader, a brilliant strategist with a hidden agenda, wanted to prove that even heroes could be manipulated, turned against one another, or forced to fail. Superman realized that to succeed, he would need not only strength but intelligence, foresight, and unwavering resolve. Back in New York, the Avengers faced the largest assault. Energy weapons rained down from multiple directions, threatening skyscrapers and bridges. Black Widow and Hawkeye moved through the chaos with unmatched precision, disarming explosives and directing civilians to safety. Captain America led defensive maneuvers, blocking attacks, while coordinating team movements. Hulk absorbed impacts with his unstoppable strength, while Thor unleashed storms to neutralize aerial threats. The city became a battleground, but every heroic act was amplified by the cameras streaming live to millions worldwide. Superman arrived at the central energy node of the villain coalition's operation. The device at its core was designed to drain energy from the planet itself, and time was running out. He moved with incredible speed, dismantling protective systems, neutralizing automated defenses, and pushing toward the heart of the threat. The villains fought back with advanced weaponry, but Superman's combination of strategy and raw power was unstoppable. Every strike, every maneuver was calculated to minimize collateral damage while maximizing efficiency. The leader of the coalition confronted Superman directly, revealing their ultimate plan to turn the world's energy systems into a weapon that could control nations, disable heroes, and enforce submission. The confrontation was intense, both physically and mentally. The villain challenged Superman's ethics, questioning whether his ideals were truly achievable in a world full of chaos and greed. But Superman's response was unwavering. He fought not for recognition, not for glory, but for the lives of billions who depended on him. The Avengers arrived just in time to support him. Thor's lightning disabled critical systems, Iron Man's tech bypassed security barriers, and Captain America coordinated evacuation efforts. Together, they dismantled the coalition's weapon. Hulk smashed through armor defenses, while Spider-Man ensured that civilians remained out of harm's way. The teamwork was flawless, and the villain's plan crumbled piece by piece. Finally, the coalition's leader was defeated. Their plans for global control were dismantled, and their forces scattered. Cities that had been on the brink of disaster were stabilized. Superman and the Avengers stood amidst the aftermath, exhausted but triumphant. The world had witnessed the full extent of heroism, including bravery, coordination, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to protecting life. News outlets called it the day heroes saved the world again, while social media exploded with clips, hashtags, and discussions. Millions of people shared footage of heroic rescues, battles, and leadership. Superman's reputation, once questioned after breaking his oath, was now solidified as a symbol of hope and resilience. The Avengers, once torn by orders and doubt, were united stronger than ever. In the quiet moments after the battle, Superman looked out over the city, reflecting on the journey. He had faced mistrust, public scrutiny, and unimaginable challenges, yet he had endured. The battles had tested not only his strength, but his character, morality, and commitment to justice. The world had learned that even when heroes are misunderstood or doubted, their courage and actions define them. As the sun rose, signaling a new day, Superman and the Avengers prepared for whatever challenges the future might bring. They had proven that unity, intelligence, and courage could overcome even the most complex threats. The story of their heroism spread across the globe, inspiring hope, debate, and admiration. For the world, it was a reminder that even in moments of doubt and chaos, Heroes rise to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The events of this day became a global legend. Citizens, inspired by the courage they had witnessed, shared stories, celebrated heroism, and strengthened their belief in hope. Superman had broken his oath once, but he had risen again to prove that true heroism isn't about perfection. It's about action, sacrifice, and the unwavering will to protect life against all odds. Even after the coalition was defeated, the world was not truly at peace. Superman and the Avengers had saved millions of lives, but the scars of recent chaos were still fresh. Cities bore damage, infrastructure had collapsed, and citizens were shaken by what they had witnessed. Social media was flooded with live footage, news clips, and heated debates. The public's faith in superheroes had been tested like never before, and the heroes knew that regaining trust would take more than one victory. Superman took to the skies once more, surveying the recovering cities. His mind was focused on rebuilding not just physical structures, but faith in heroism itself. The Avengers coordinated relief efforts, helping communities repair damage, distributing aid, and ensuring civilians felt safe again. Every action was a statement that heroes were not only powerful, but accountable, compassionate, and committed. The world needed to see that, and the heroes delivered. Meanwhile, remnants of the villain coalition were still at large. Scattered groups plotted retaliation, seeking revenge against the heroes who had humiliated them. Superman and the Avengers knew these threats could ignite new waves of destruction if left unchecked. They formed rapid response teams, combining intelligence gathering, tactical operations, and direct intervention. Every mission was precise, every decision critical. Lives depended on speed and coordination, and failure was not an option. Superman faced personal challenges as well. Even after proving his strength and loyalty, he struggled with public perception. Videos of his battles spread rapidly, but misinformation and fear-mongering circulated just as fast. People questioned whether a hero so powerful could ever be trusted, whether he could make mistakes that even the Avengers could not stop. It was a reminder that heroism required more than strength. It demanded humility, empathy, and resilience. The heroes' work soon drew them into an international crisis. A villainous faction had hijacked a series of satellites capable of causing widespread energy disruption. Entire regions could face blackouts, communication failures, and even environmental hazards if the plan succeeded. Superman flew at supersonic speeds, intercepting dangerous payloads before they could strike. Thor unleashed controlled lightning to redirect energy surges, while Iron Man hacked enemy systems to regain control of compromised satellites. The stakes were global, and failure was unthinkable. Every rescue and intervention was recorded, streamed, and shared instantly. Millions of viewers witnessed heroism in real time. Social media platforms exploded with admiration, hashtags trending worldwide. Citizens cheered heroes' names, while news outlets broadcasted the events nonstop. It became clear that the combination of action, visibility, and personal sacrifice amplified the impact of every heroic act. Superman's reputation, once questioned after breaking his oath, had been restored through relentless courage and strategic brilliance. As the day wore on, the remaining villains attempted a coordinated attack on multiple cities simultaneously. The Avengers split into teams, each addressing a different threat. Black Widow and Hawkeye focused on evacuations, preventing casualties and neutralizing tactical traps. Hulk intercepted heavy machinery used to demolish city blocks, while Spider-Man swung through tight streets to prevent smaller-scale disasters. Every move highlighted precision, speed, and teamwork, the very essence of modern heroism. Superman's leadership was pivotal. He coordinated the team, prioritized objectives, and personally intervened in the most critical situations. The culmination of these efforts prevented disaster on a global scale. By nightfall, cities were stabilized, villain plans foiled, and citizens were safe. The world had seen the heroes at their absolute best, a combination of power, intelligence, and moral fortitude that inspired awe and gratitude. In the aftermath, Superman reflected on the journey. Misunderstandings had led to conflict, Yet perseverance, collaboration, and courage had restored faith. The Avengers stood with him, stronger than ever, demonstrating that even when heroes are tested, unity prevails. The story of their triumph spread worldwide, inspiring hope, admiration, and the knowledge that even in the darkest times, heroes rise to protect humanity. The battle might have been over, but the lesson endured. Strength is meaningless without responsibility. Power is incomplete without compassion. And true heroism shines brightest when it faces doubt, fear, and the impossible and overcomes it. The world was finally catching its breath, but Superman knew the job was never truly finished. Even after defeating the coalition and restoring global stability, threats remained, both seen and unseen. Villains might have been scattered, but the scars of their attacks lingered, and the people needed reassurance that heroes were still vigilant. The Avengers and Superman had proven themselves, but now it was time to solidify trust, inspire hope, and prepare for what might come next. Superman flew over the skyline at dawn, watching the cities rebuild. Bridges that had collapsed were being reconstructed, power grids restored, and communities coming together to help one another. Every act of heroism had been recorded, shared, and celebrated, and the world had seen that even when heroes face misunderstanding or conflict, their commitment to protecting life is unwavering. The hashtags and trending videos told the story far more effectively than words ever could. Superman's name was once again synonymous with hope, courage, and resilience. The Avengers gathered for a final briefing. Although the immediate threat had been neutralized, they knew vigilance was crucial. Intelligence reports indicated minor disruptions in remote locations, remnants of the coalition trying to regroup, perhaps testing defenses or planting seeds for future attacks. Every hero understood that preparation and strategy were as important as power. They coordinated patrols, monitoring hotspots, and training for rapid response. Unity had become their greatest weapon. Superman addressed the team, not with orders, but with inspiration. He reminded them that heroism was about more than victories. It was about compassion, responsibility, and standing firm when the world doubts you. Each member took the message to heart. Captain America emphasized teamwork. Iron Man focused on innovation. Thor pledged to protect the innocent with his might. And Black Widow reminded them all that even small actions could have enormous impact. The lesson was clear that heroes are defined by what they do when no one is watching. As they continued to safeguard the world, Superman received messages from citizens, leaders, and communities thanking them for their bravery. Children wrote letters, schools held assemblies, and social media was filled with heartfelt tributes. The world had seen a hero who could fall, be doubted, and still rise to protect millions. These moments reinforced the idea that courage isn't just about fighting. It's about inspiring, guiding, and being a symbol of hope when darkness looms. Unexpectedly, the last remnants of the villain coalition attempted one final strike. This time, it wasn't about mass destruction. It was a psychological attack aimed at shaking public trust. False reports, manipulated videos, and staged incidents tried to portray Superman and the Avengers as reckless, dangerous, or untrustworthy. But the heroes were prepared. With transparency, intelligence, and decisive action, they neutralized the threats and exposed the manipulation to the world. The public saw clearly that the heroes' intentions were pure, their actions deliberate, and their dedication unwavering. The victory wasn't just physical, it was moral. Superman and the Avengers had not only defended the world, but restored faith in what it meant to be a hero. The citizens cheered, communities celebrated, and the stories spread globally. Every video, every post, and every news clip highlighted heroism at its finest, including teamwork, resilience, strategy, and compassion. The world learned that even when heroes face misunderstanding, they rise above, proving that courage and responsibility are inseparable. In the quiet aftermath, Superman reflected on everything that had happened. He had faced mistrust, public scrutiny, and threats that spanned continents. He had battled not just villains, but doubt, fear, and the weight of responsibility itself. Yet through every trial, he had remained steadfast, guided by the knowledge that protecting life is the truest measure of heroism. The Avengers stood beside him, allies stronger and wiser than ever before. As the sun set over the rebuilt cities, Superman looked down at the world he had sworn to protect. The journey had tested him, broken assumptions, and reshaped perceptions. But one truth remained unshaken. Heroes rise not for recognition, but for the innocent lives depending on them. The story of this epic saga spread across the globe, inspiring millions to believe in hope, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of heroes. And though challenges would come again, the world knew that together, Superman and the Avengers could face anything. Script complete.